Oh my god, just oh my god. We are 6 weeks into the UFL season, and while the level of play has been all but consistent, there has been one man who sits atop a body of work more consistent than the salt in the sea, more sure than the sand on the beach, and that is kicker Jake Bates. And if you've been under a football rock or just not a big spring football fan, let me give you a rundown on this kid for the third time on this channel because you will see him in fall football. Mark my words. First, Jake Bates played his college days as a kickoff specialist, so no field goal reps in college. Then he gets his first pro game, gets his first kick, and it is a game-winning 64-yard field goal. To the average kicker, this would make your blood pressure spike enough to turn your nose into a blood geyser strong enough to rival Old Faithful. But Jake keeps it cool and strokes it. But then he has to kick it again thanks to them calling a timeout, so he strokes it again. So you're thinking, all right, that's one cool cat. But that's not it, because a week later they sent him out for another 62-yard field goal. The first time since Brett Maher a few years back that somebody has to go and attempt back-to-back 60-yarders in back-to-back weeks. And butter me up and call me a biscuit, he makes it look absolutely easy. Needless to say, I'm sure the Lions are not going to let this kid out of Ford Field when the season ends without him signing on the dotted line, and every other GM is sweating because they somehow missed on this kid to let him land in the UFL. But his best work is still ahead of him. Week 6, you're caught up to date. Jake Bates is going to absolutely snap. First, they line him up. Routine 55-yard field goal. It's not routine for everybody else. It is for Jake. And is it even a question of if he's going to make it or by how much room he'll have at the end? Because he stripes it. He kicks the leather off this ball. I'm surprised the logo was still attached to it when it falls down after hitting the net above the field goal post from 55 yards out. So what's that? An extra 17 yards? Good from 72? Well, it doesn't matter because there's an offside, so it moves him forward. And then the drive results in him getting a closer attempt. Much less exciting, but naturally it goes in. Flash forward. Half is about to end. And finally, a nice 60-yarder. Something to wake Jake up as we're getting into the interesting range for him. And look at this. Oh my god, 60 yards. What is that? Halfway up the field goal post, if not 3/4 of the way when it hits the net. And everybody is losing their mind because that is 3 60-yard field goals this season. But we're just at halftime, baby. We're going to keep it rolling. He's going to come back out, connect on a casual 45-yarder, and then gets hit for another flag. So now he's like 4 for 4 like a Wendy's combo, but with only 2 of those counting, and he hasn't even made it look close yet. The drive still ends with a 29-yard field goal to make him an official 3 for 3 and an unofficial 5 for 5 before a mid-4th 49-yard field goal closed the lead to just 5 as he is single-handedly keeping the Panthers in this game. And if an unofficial 6 for 6 isn't good enough, this game ends the only possible way it could have. 2 seconds left on the clock. Down by 2. With Jake Bates walking out, you might as well celebrate your 1-point lead as he pulls it and misses. But wait. There's a flag. And I'd like to think he pulled it because they're blowing the play dead, but call that the letter before the period because it's beside the point. And I'm gonna take a time to tangent on some of the worst coaching malpractice I've ever seen, because how, after a dead play, an effective timeout if you will, as a coaching staff, do you send 12 people on the field for a game-winning field goal block? That is just one of the worst things you could ever do. To give Jake Bates a mulligan on a very rare mistake means your odds of winning are now absolutely dead as he crushed the dreams of the Renegades to get their first win and went an unofficial 7 for 8 on field goals, but an official 5 for 5 with a 60-yarder and a game winner. Lions, do not let this man leave the stadium unsigned.